So thank you very much, Chairman, Madam. At the outset, I want to thank all the organizing committee members and especially the organizing secretary for giving me the opportunity to discuss regarding the buffalo meat. And the milk and meat both should go hand in hand, especially in this part in buffalo. From the last 2 days, the speakers, all the dignitaries on the dais have been discussing that there should be the two lines. One is milk and other one is the meat. And still we are being not following that. It's a, you can see that it's only one speaker is there for the meat industry who is being discussing regarding the buffalo meat. And after such a science he has discussed, and I am going to discuss only the what is the scenario of the buffalo meat industry in India as well as in the world, and what are the opportunities being available for the buffalo meat industry. So it's a dynamics of the buffalo assets. Everybody knew that we have in the world over around 204 million heads are being available, and the two riverine and a swamp are there, and they are being distributed to the almost to the 50 countries. And moreover, the dominant is the Asian. 97% are the Asian population is being there, and it's been growing. On a graph of FAO stat, it shows that it's a regular increase in the buffalo population is there in the world over. So the buffalo has a quadruple purpose animal. It includes milk, meat, leather, and the draft power. And if we see the Indian scenario, the component of the draft animal power is being decreasing. If we see that it's in 2000, at the current price of 2000, it's a 10,000 crore rupees we were being saving. Now it is being reduced to around 7,000 crore rupees only, and it's being almost in 20 years the reduction is being a bigger one. And if we see the milk, everybody knew that's a 49% is being contributed. In case of the buffalo meat, 20% contribution is being coming up. And leather, we are one of the biggest exporter of the leather and leather industry, 3 billion square feet. That's being the total leather production is being coming up. So this slide I have put up on a special basis. Just you check it out. That it's the contribution of the buffalo sector in the dairy group as well as the meat group is being almost at 28%, if they include it. And one species that's giving a almost 28% contribution in the total livestock sector output. That's one of the biggest achievement of the buffalo industry. If we see how the meat production is being, we are being producing around 4.3 million tons of the buffalo meat world over, and around 90% is being coming from the Asia, and rest of the world is being contributing around 10% only. And South Asia is been around 75%, whereas the Southeastern Asia is also been coming up around 0.03%, and it's one of the biggest importer of the buffalo meat. If we see the export, no doubt the separate data of the buffalo meat export is not being available. However, if we see that the Brazil is being a biggest exporter of the buffalo meat and the beef, cara beef and beef combined, and after that India has been coming around on the 4th state. If you see that this graph, in this graph you can see that the India was being going up to the Brazil up to 2016, and thereafter we lost the path, and now we cannot compete with the Brazil. It's being very high on that aspect. So we have to look on that. How we can, that's I'm going to discuss in the next slides. Next is that there is a value. If we see the buffalo meat export value, so from the last 5 years, no doubt there is a little decrease is there, but still we have been maintaining around 3.17 billion US dollar is being there. And we are being exporting the buffalo meat to around 70 different countries. That includes all the part of the world that's being the developing nations as well as the developing nations. We are being exporting the buffalo meat to even to US, Australia, and those countries also. And so the point of concern, 3 questions are being coming up. First question is how it is being happening, how there is a big surge in the buffalo meat export. Then what are the factors which are being influencing it, and why it is being happening. There is you can see in the map there is a decrease in the buffalo meat export is there from 4.78 in case of the 2015, and it is reduced to 3.17. Next is that if we see the share of the export in up to, there are the 2 slides are there. One is graph and other one is the table. In the table, you can see that we were being exporting to the Vietnam up to 2018 to 2019. That's been contributing around 50% of the total export. And whereas in 2021, our export has been divided to Vietnam and the Hong Kong. Why such a big export to the one of the country, and why it is being, this scenario is being changed? This is basically because of the only one reason, that they are these Vietnam and the Hong Kong, these are the pathways to go to the China. And our meat is basically going to the China. China is one of the biggest importer of the meat. That includes not only the buffalo meat or beef, that also include pork and others also. But China is not importing the buffalo meat from India only because of the one reason, that is the FMD. And Indian government is been pressing very hard on the Chinese government from the last almost 1 decade, because of the increase in the deficit, trade deficit, which is going on increase, but still they have not accepted. How it is being happening? How does this big export is being increasing? This is basically because of the 80 APIDA approved abattoirs, which are our modern abattoirs. It's always the image of the meat industry is being maligned, that it's being very unhygienic and nothing is being there. We have a very wonderful modern slaughterhouses which take care of all the aspects, animal welfare to the quality, and nothing is being wasted over there. And you can see that the UP is having a highest number of the plants. That's why it's been contributing around 37% of the total export. And the next one is coming up the Maharashtra. And the Punjab is also being leading with 11% with the 5 slaughter units. And Alana Sons is sharing the almost 50% of the total market share, and they are being the number 1 over there. And the different exporters are being coming up, and however, it is being dominated by these 10, which I have mentioned over there. Then, what makes India leading buffalo exporter? We should look into the reasons for that one. First is that the green livestock production system. It's being, from the last 2 days, everybody has been discussing that our production system is being still be safer. We are because we are hearing the buffaloes on the byproduct of the agro industry, and we are not utilizing any practices of hormones, antibiotics, and others for the production system, because we are not rearing the animals for the meat production. Basically, and the utilization of all these hormones is comparatively very, very less. And as per the OIA, our India is being safe from BSC, rinderpest, and as well as the CBPP. So we are being safer for these dreaded diseases. Then next important thing is the authentic halal. And Indian buffalo meat is being such a chemically lean. It's a low in fat, almost 1.3% fat is being there, and it's being can be utilized. It can be blended with any type of the other meat or other ingredients to develop the processed meat products. Because we are exporting 98% of the raw, frozen, boneless buffalo meat. No processed products are being exported. So it is being processed in their own country. So there is a lot of features are being available with our buffalo meat, which can be utilized for that purpose. Then the geographical locations that we can, because buffalo meat is being sold on the basis of free on board price, and our location is such that it can be exported to the Gulf region also, as well as the South Asian region also, as well as to the other parts of the world. So if you see that the Indian buffalo meat is low in the pesticide residue, everybody is being telling that it's a pesticide residue is being increasing, but still we are being far less than the modern counterparts or the developed nations. India has been consuming only 0.6 kilogram per hectare of pesticides, whereas if this figure is as high as up to 13 kg per hectare in US. So still we can say that our meat is a more or less an organic meat. Then the halal meat industry is being booming like anything, and almost 25% of the world population is the Muslim population, and the halal brand of Halal India brand, it's been traveling throughout the world, and we are in it. And second is coming in the race is Indonesia. especially for the halal meat and halal based products. So there is a lot of scope for the halal, authentic halal products in the international market. Then if you see the OIE status regarding the health status is being also being given to the Indian for the, as I've already mentioned, especially the most important thing is that the veterinary services, veterinary infrastructure is a well developed. No doubt, there's lot. We have around 66,000 registered veterinarians. More than 23,000 dispensaries are being there. We have an polyclinics of more than 500 polyclinics are there in the India. So moreover, now recently the mobile veterinary clinics are also being introduced. So we have a very good infrastructure. We should utilize that one. That's being the plus point for us. Moreover, as per the obligations of the OIE, we are being exporting the buffalo meat which has a pH below 6 or around 6. Why it is being important? The pH 6 is being important, especially for the FMD virus. FMD virus, if you see, go through this table, this FMD virus get inactivated at 4 degrees centigrade at 6 pH within less than 1 minute. So our meat is being safe than the FMD. And this message should be clear and precisely reach to the every country that our meat is being safe with respect to the FMD. And still the people are not being accepting it. So as per the disease, especially the disease-free zones to be developed, and it is being going on. And there's a flagship program has also been mentioned by the NADCP, that's a National Animal Disease Control Program. And as per the disease-free zones, minimum 100-kilometer area should be free from the particular disease, then only we can call it. So the Andhra Pradesh and Telangana in 2016, they got the FMD free. The Carabbeef nutritional quality, if you see, that's as I've already mentioned, it's 1.37% is the only the lipids are there. That's saturated fat as compared to the beef, and its high protein content is being there. And young male buffalo calves meat is being higher in the protein than our spent buffalo meat. So its acceptability and utilization is being very high, and the GADVASU has also been worked on that and developed various products, low fat, low sodium, and this buffalo meat patties and others, thus processed products. Now still there is a lot of scope in the buffalo meat industry. Why it is not been happening? What are the issues and the challenges? So our productivity index of the Indian water buffaloes is the 7th in the world. We are being number 1 in the world population, having around 57% of the world population. Still our productivity index is being very low. Absence of the specific meat breeds, variable meat quality, lack of uniform slaughter policy, prevalent animal diseases, FMD marketing system, poor utilization of byproducts, and failure to take up buffalo farming as an entrepreneurial activity, and the traceability. These are the 8 issues are being there. One by one I will discuss. First is the productivity of the buffaloes. You see from this chart that the meat productivity is being calculated on the basis of meat production divided by buffalo population into 100, and see the productivity level that in India, no doubt we are, in case of meat, we are being 7th, and the Pakistan, our neighbor, is on the 5th position. But see the difference in the productivity. Productivity is only 1.33 and there is 2.44. So almost the double are being there. And if we see the carcass weight and other things, then we will find that our carcass weight is only 129 kg, whereas they are having 210 kg. So there is, because the major reason for that is that we don't have any meat breeds. We are not growing the animals for the meat purpose. It's basically only the spent animals which are going for the blade. And there are the 19 registered buffalo breeds are there with the NBGR, and none of them is the meat breed. Whereas if you go to the smallest, the Trinidad and Tobago, they have developed the meat breeds, Buffalo and Trinidadian breeds, and they have as high as up to 325 kg carcass weight. So now the carcass yield, if you see, that's it's been growing throughout from the last almost 20 years, it's been growing from 106 to 130, but still the growth rate is being very low. And we have to look into that factor, that how we can increase the carcass yield. The variable meat quality is a quite variable. So that's why the acceptability on the international market is being very low, as if we compare with the beef meat. So the the average price of the buffalo meat is being $3,000 per ton, almost $3 per kg. And if you see the beef, it's being around 6,200 to 6,700. So such a big difference is being there. We have to look into, because of the one reason is that there's a lot of variation. Dietary reason is there. Different areas, it's being grown on the byproduct wastage, agriculture, agro industry byproducts. Then the different ages at the slaughter. There is no slaughter policy properly, and varying degree of the fat and collagen distribution is there. The biggest problem is that we don't have any uniform slaughter policy. It varies a lot with respect to the both aspects. One is that the slaughtering of the buffalo calves as well as the slaughtering of the spent female buffaloes. Day before yesterday, our worthy vice chancellor told that almost 70% of the spent female were being slaughtered in Punjab slaughterhouses. But still, if you go through the guidelines and others, you will find that almost 11 to 12 states, they have still been banned. The buffaloes spent female buffaloes cannot be slaughtered in the age gap of less than 12 years. So you can imagine, we are always, it is being maligned that if we open up the slaughtering policy, then there will be havoc and the population of the buffalo will be decreased. It's not at all true. The figures will show you that if we see the growth rate, our exports of the meat has been started in 1982. And thereafter, the growth rate of the buffaloes is always being higher than the total livestock. And if before that one also still being higher. So almost the same. Things are being moving on that one. There is no net at all. So the culling and the selection should go complementary to each other. Nothing is being, the productivity can be improved only with the selection procedure. If we see even the world over, the 5 major countries which are being dealing with the buffalo meat, you can see from the data directly that if we compare with our neighboring country, Pakistan itself, the change is being around from 1980 to 2020, almost in 40 years, is 226,000 buffalo population is being changed, and the slaughter rate is 19.38, and our slaughter rate is being the 9.77, and it is being as high as up to 38% in case of the Egypt. Still, their buffalo population is being growing. So nothing related with the slaughtering policy. So meat quality is being dependent upon the disease. And second important thing is that we should look into that how the meat inspection process is being carried out. No doubt, FMD eradication program and everything is being going on. Still, there is in 2021 itself, there has been a lot of reports are being there, especially from the Karnataka and that part of the world, that part of the India, where FMD is still being reported. And next important thing is that the Egypt recently in November 2020, they have banned buffalo meat import from India because of the pesticide traces. So in that case, I just want to mention here that they have a very stringent law, especially they are being now counting into the PPP, rather than it's not practically being possible. So we have to look into those standards also. Then if we see the meat inspection in the veterinarians, as I've already mentioned, there is the majority of the meat inspection is being carried out as an additional services. The veterinarian which are being posted at a CVH, he's being given an additional charge to check out the meat quality or antemortem or postmortem inspection in the respective slaughterhouses or others. No separate cadre for the meat inspection is being there. And as per the requirement, minimum we require 13,000 veterinarian for the meat inspection itself. So that is almost 20% of the total veterinarian population. Such a huge demand is being required in case of meat inspection. Moreover, here I want to mention one more thing, that the private slaughterhouses, they are being hiring the veterinarian for meat inspection on their payroll. It's not being paid by the government or other thing. So the veterinarians which are being hired by them, they become compulsive that if they reject some carcass, some animal, it means there is economic loss to that plant, and they are not doing it. They are so they are being not stringent as per the laws. So there is a need that we should go for a separate cadre, and the veterinarians which are being working in the state, they should be placed even in the private slaughterhouses. Then the marketing system is very poor. We have to strengthen it. There is a disparity is being there in the market and slaughtering fee in the various states. we are being collecting more than 10,000 crore rupees from a marketing structure, and still the condition of our market is very, very poor. There is no availability, nothing is there. And if we see how the buffalo meat chain is being moving on, there are the two types of the chains are being there. One is the domestic market, another one is the export purposes. We see in that aspect that in the domestic market, generally the carcasses, in the export market, there is around 300 kg animal is being going on an average. 300 kg animal is being going into the slaughterhouses. So the chain is that the farmer either sell it to the livestock market, and the trader or the contractor, they purchase from the livestock market, then it goes to the exporter, and finally to the importing country. The contribution we find that's have picked up from the FIFI report that 55% is being going to the farmer, and 17% to the trader, and 28% benefit to the exporter, so that finally in the international consumer is having around 170 rupees per kg. So this report is of 2014 to 2015, when there was a highest export of the buffalo meat was being there. If you see the domestic market, here the animal weight is being around 200 kg, and the plus point of is that still you can see there is a little complication is there. Supply chain is there. The farmer is going to livestock market. There's one more component, commission agent has come up before the municipal slaughterhouses, but still the farmer benefit is being 70%. So in the domestic market, but the point of concern is that the consumption of the buffalo meat in the domestic market is only 8% of the total. Our 92%, 93% is being basically meant for the export purposes. The domestic consumption of the buffalo meat is being very less. So in the morning also, it was being discussed that we have to go for the broiler buffalo mission, and it can be a game changer by going for male buffalo calves. So if from this data from the last almost 40 years, from 1992 to 2020, from 30 years, you can see that there's a decrease in the male buffalo population, almost 50%, 46.5% precisely, and average annual growth rate is being reduced by 1.25%. If you see in the last 40 years, and it's been whereas female population is being increasing. So where all these male buffalo cows are being going, because they are being kept unconcerned, nothing is being fed. Like especially in case of the first 6 months, as in the morning session, it has been discussed, the highest input has to be given by the farmer, and they are not going for that purpose. And you see the graph that the buffalo calves under 1 year age, the gap between the two lines, blue and the red line, is going on increasing. The wide gap is being coming up. Only because of that, if we see the population 2012 to 2019, this almost 42.35% buffalo male cows for the total males are being reduced. So mortality is being much of the bigger issue. So if we see it's just an estimated buffalo meat production potential is there. If we consider that our male buffalo cows and the female buffalo cows both are of the same number, around 20 millions are being there. So if we see on that aspect, that the growth rate of the meat production can be more than from $3.4 billion right now to it goes even up to 11 billion. And the contribution can be manifold. So if we see on that aspect, that how much farmers will get, almost 14,000 crore rupees will be distributed to the farmers if this scheme is being implemented. So if we go on a conservative mode also, 50% is being taken, that's a 7,000 crore rupees. That's also a very big value. But everybody has realized this thing, and for realizing all these things, the scheme has already been launched in 2010, salvaging of and rearing of male buffalo calves, SRBMBS MBC scheme in 2010 by the NABARD, and a lot of paraphernalia was being generated, a lot of discussion was being there. But how many takers are there of this scheme? In the last almost 10 years, in the last 1 decade, very few are there. The FICI has conducted a survey, and they have found that only 7% of the farmers among the buffalo rearers, they were being aware about this scheme. 93% were not at all aware, because of one of the reason that in this scheme, it is basically a capital subsidy scheme. The farmers are given the loan to run for the salvaging of the male buffalo calves, and out of this loan, the subsidy is being given, especially on the interest amount and others. And it is meant for the commercialized farms only. So the minimum number of should be more than 100 animals. So for a, whereas in Indian conditions, everybody, the farmers are rearing 2 or 3 buffalo cows or like that, and there is no system is being available that somebody come on and collect it or do it that, and the regular farmers, they are not at all aware about anything, and the our valuable protein, valuable animals, they are being lost like anything. So there is a need to look into the scheme, and there is a radical ramification is being required on this scheme. That's the most important part. Within 2 minutes only, within 2 minutes I'm finishing up, just finishing up. So quality meat production is this work has been carried out in NDRI itself in 1995. At that time they told that this scheme cannot be for rearing of the buffaloes for the meat purpose cannot be possible because the market price was being almost half of the cost of production, but now it is being increased manifold, so it's being possible. And then the utilization of the byproduct is a major issue at all the plants. No doubt 80 FMD approved plants, they are being utilizing the byproducts, whereas others can't. So byproducts has a very good potential. If you calculate on that basis, approximately around we can earn 1,35,000 crore rupees from the byproducts itself. And a lot of byproduct products can be prepared, and work has been carried out in our lab also. So pet products, pet foods is one of the major industries. The byproducts can be utilized for the pet food, and one project has been sanctioned to the university also under the DBT Canine Research Network project, and we have been working on that one. And ready-to-eat dry pet foods are being prepared, and that has an especially the breed-specific, age-specific, disease-specific, and functional pet foods are being developed. So rendered products are being there. Meat-borne meal as well as the leather sector is the next important issue where we have to work on that one. Our leather industry is being dying because of the pollution control norms and others. We have to look into that, how we can do, because that's being harboring around 3 million people, especially employment generation is being there, and we are one of the biggest exporter are being there. So I'm coming directly to the final, what the policy options are being expected from that. First and the foremost is there that we should have a pragmatic buffalo slaughter policy in all the states, and the slaughtering of male buffalo calves should be allowed. There should be the mandatory backward linkages for the buffalo meat production to all buffalo meat exporters, because there was a lot of hue and cry in Punjab that the population of the buffalo is being decreased in the Punjab. Only one of the point of reason is that the major concern is there is no backward linkages. In the morning session, Dr. Indrapreet told that she has given a problem to her student, and she has gone all through Punjab, and none of the farmers was being rearing the buffaloes for meat purposes. And the plants which are being committed to do it, they are also not doing it. So if we don't maintain our germ plots of male buffalo calves, we cannot progress. And the traceability is the next major issue is being there. If we have to go to the international market, we have to maintain our complete value chain, and that traceability should be through that process. And the public-private partnership ventures, especially in the organized buffalo meat exports, is the need of the hour. And thank you very much. There are 3 projects are going on, flagship projects are going on, so lot many are being required. Still, lot many are being required. Thank you.
Thank you, for a nice and elaborative presentation on the challenges related to the export of buffalo meat and their solutions.
Thank you.
So, any query from the audience?
I have a supplementary question. Now, you have told about buffalo meat export, but at the first stage itself, there are socio-economic implications. Everywhere when any slaughterhouse is opened, it has been यानी कि उसका विरोध होता है.
बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं सर आप. There was a lot of hue and cry when there is any slaughterhouse is opened, but the things are being changing. When the first slaughterhouse in Punjab was being opened in 1994, Punjab Meat Limited (PML), and there was a lot of hue and cry. Now there are the 5 are being working in Haryana, which the state which is considered as a around 78% is the vegetarian population is being there, and the 2 more major modern abattoirs are being working. Now people have realized issue, that the economics is more important. And so, moreover, I mentioned over here that the domestic consumption of the buffalo meat is being very low. We are basically producing it to feed others.
Still opposition is going on.
Yes, sir. That's being there. That's there. There is a lot many issues that includes political issues also and everything.
Another point I want to supplement over here is that you have quoted that male calf population is going down. So we have developed the technology itself through AI, etc. We want to
Sex semen.
So that is why the female population is increasing, and you have represented growth rate itself. So what is your comment on that?
So as mentioned, Madam also mentioned that still we are being looking for a sex semen in case of buffaloes, but as we have to look on those files, there is a two complementary lines are there. That's a milk line and the meat line. That should go to parallel to each other.
We should develop that sex ratio with more prominent in male calf.
Right.
For that.
बिल्कुल सर. अब जैसे यूपी में there is a lot of hue and cry, and the maximum number of slaughterhouses are in UP only.
Okay, Professor, you can discuss during lunchtime. Now we are having number of speakers. Professor Chatli, one more point I want to add here, that according to the FIDA, so we are having underutilized processing facility.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, recent report is there, and we are having 50% facility for the processing of meat is being used, and 50% is underutilized. So one of the the way forward should be that we should go for the value-added product or processed product of the solution. Is it possible?
Yes, ma'am. But the point of concern is always being there that the processed meat, buffalo meat product, there is no taker in, especially in Indian condition in domestic market, and foreigners or whatever, they always like to have their own taste because
you are working in the same LPG livestock product.
Yeah.
So you can come with the by mixing different type of the different specific.
Sir, we already falling short of time. Already time has lapsed, so you can start the next thing.
and
So I request Dr. Manish to honor the.
sir, मेरी कोई data photo खींचना सर.